because you really don't want to put a wheel wrong or put a wheel off, because that really will be you in the sea upside down. So I'll be honest, part of the reason of having this window open is so I can make quick exit if I get this wrong. Now this is the tightest bit of all. Hello again YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And today I am at Kinnaird Head Lighthouse in Fraserburgh in absolutely glorious sunshine. And this wasn't quite what the weather forecast said it was going to be today, but I'm not exactly complaining. And I've taken the Tesla up to this absolutely amazing lighthouse, which is built, as you can see, through the middle of a castle. So today we're going to go on a little bit of a trip. We're going to do Aberdeenshire's Coastal Trail north from here towards Cullen, with a few little embellishments of some roads which I know are absolutely gorgeous, which aren't quite on the main trail. And we're mainly doing this as a bit of a warm-up for my North Coast 500 trip, which I'm going to be doing in a few weeks' time. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel to get all of that. But we're going to go out, video some scenery, and have a little bit of fun in my Tesla Model Y. Let's get going then, shall we? First of all, we're going to take the coast road through Rosehearty, and then we're going to go down to the amazing little village of Pennan. We're going to go down to the even more amazing little village of Crovie and into Gardenstown, maybe along the seawall, because that was a lot of fun last time. And yeah, we'll see how far we get. This section of coastline is essentially sand dunes, which is fairly unusual for the north coast, because it pretty quickly turns into cliffs, as we're going to see as soon as we basically clear the little coastal communities that we're about to go through. Wow, proper rural traffic control roadworks with a guy holding a stop-go sign. Who needs traffic lights when you can have men with a lollipop sign? That's more like it. You can see already there's cliffs and hills in front of us, so this open flat bit of duney coastline doesn't last very long. Basically we climb up out of Rosehearty, which is the next village, and that's pretty much it for the flat until you get to Cullen. Historic borough of Rosehearty. Another place that you have to pick your way through. There's quite a few of these. I was not about to hit the van. You don't need to scream at me because of that. Oh, okay, so it's shut there. Well, that's absolutely fine. We were going to go this way anyway, because this is the back route to New Aberdour. And this is definitely not on the coastal trail, but it is just lovely. It's a single track meander across the tops of the cliffs, basically. You do just get these amazing vistas though on this coast, as we've just come over the top there, and probably as we go around this bend as well. It is just absolutely unreal, especially if you get a beautiful day like this. And there is a bit of cloud up there, but it's not blocking the sun, and that just makes it, for me, absolutely perfect, because it adds a bit of interest to the sky that you don't get if it's just uniformly blue. I love this. You think the road goes straight on, but no, that's somebody's farm. The road actually swings round. No, that's somebody's house. And then you go down here. So this is just the run down to the beach at New Aberdour. I have actually shot a few videos down here just because it looks really nice. But on today's run, we're doing all of the craggy and cliffier bits. So we're going to do this as well because we can. Because I just love this. The road just disappears towards the sea and you see nothing else. and as you can see, it's very popular during the holidays, and today is the first Monday of the second Monday of the holidays, not the first. What on earth am I talking about? All we're doing is turning around, so I'm just basically doing a shunt, and then we're going to go back up the hill. Oop, is he gonna? Ah, he's gonna hang on here. I was trying to dive into one space, but this one's much better. Then we take the fork, make sure nothing's coming up it, and there isn't. And then make sure no one's coming over there, and there isn't, and then we carry on. So we've gone from single track to a slightly wider single track. This is the B-class road that we were on earlier on, which was stonking along 60 mile an hour on the way to Rosehearty and Sandhaven, and a little bit twisty through those villages, and now is this. Bit of a contrast, guys. There's also something squeaking or rattling in the boot, which I can't quite figure out what it is. I think I need to pull everything out of the boot and work out where that's coming from. I don't think it's the seats or the trim. It sounds more like I've left something in there and just can't quite find where it is. There are so many places you can hide things in the boot that it could be almost anywhere. So where's the road going here? Because it says there's a hill, but we look like we're going downhill. Nope, we're actually turning right. So the road up there you can just about see. So we suddenly go back on ourselves and climb really, really, really steeply. That road over there is a long way above us. So hairpin bend, well, it's not the tightest going, and then that's really, really, really steep. Especially on the apex, that's properly steep. And then another mad twist. And then this basically is just through somebody's farm. Well, it certainly feels like it. Day like this, it's just perfect. Truly perfect. And on a road like this, having an EV really does make it absolutely simple to drive, because you're just basically going up and down on the throttle pedal, and you get to a hill like this and you need to moderate it, just lift your foot, ease off, you know? Not having to faff around with gears, you're always in the right gear because there are no gears. We are quite high up, but as we get to the crossroads here, we are going to take the right hand leg down into Pennan. Now, I have done a few videos down in Pennan previously, but it's always worth the run down the hill, especially on a day like this. What does it say? A quarter of a mile? Yeah, it's probably more like half by the time you get to the car park right at the bottom. But wow, wow, wow. Completely blind, very steep hairpin. And down we go. So I am feet off completely, and just because I'm not on hold mode, it means that I can let the car slow itself, which you can't do if you're on hold mode. You've got to be on throttle all the time. So down here, oh God, every time I come down here is just, oh wow. But down here, squeeze our way through the hotel, and I do mean squeeze. This is a wide car and that's a narrow gap. So we're going to go down to the car park at the end and we'll spin it around and we'll come back again. But again, you can see houses with the gable ends built out to the sea. Not all of them, but some of them. Just gives them a bit more protection if there's a storm, basically. He's waiting for me to come out, which is fine. Thank you. Just let somebody come down there before me and then we can go. Oh, it is just gorgeous when the light's like this. It is just absolutely gorgeous. A beautiful, beautiful place. Obviously immortalised by the 1983 movie Local Hero. If you've seen that, we are going to see the real phone box as opposed to the prop, which you can see in front of you now. But this is just a stunning place and quite narrow. And then you have to swing all the way over here, especially if you're in this car, because it's got the same turning circle as one of the super tankers which was going to feature in the film if they had turned the fictional village into an oil terminal. Squeeze our way out of the buildings. Wow, this is really steep. And then this blind hairpin again. Basically staying as far away across on the left as we can and then trundle around the outside and hope no one's coming the other way. Hope. There's going to be quite a few of those as we go on with this trip. So that was Pennan done. Next one is Crovie, followed by Gardenstown and the seawall, because I think we need to revisit the seawall. If you haven't seen my video, my first experience on the seawall, go and watch that one as well, but we're going to do it for you again now. Wow, every time I come down here, even if the weather isn't brilliant, it's still the same. It's just amazing to look at. Amazing. That farm basically is kind of on a headland surrounded by cliffs on three sides. One side isn't enough, it needs more. And then just from a performance basis with the car, we are coming around here onto a 17% hill. Let's get just around the bend onto the steepest bit. Here will do. And absolutely floor it, and all power is available. It doesn't matter that you're going up a 17% grade. The car doesn't care. It'll still hurtle you towards the horizon at a rate of knots. It's not the smoothest tarmac. There's loads of bumps and imperfections, which, again, because this is a I don't want to call it harder riding car. It's certainly stiff, and that does mean it gets transmitted basically through the chassis. And when I say chassis, it's basically the structural battery pack. So you know the batteries are on the floor in this huge structural piece. You've then got the giga casting mouldings on front and back, which hold the motors and the wheels and things attached to. It's an amazing way that they actually build these things, but it does mean that the ride is a little bit stiff on jiggly conditions. So I don't find it uncomfortable. It's certainly better riding than the Mini was, or the Volvo even. The Volvo was not a particularly good car on anything other than the smoothest surface. This is fine. And unlike the Volvo, this is well chuckable. The Volvo didn't like to be hurried. Our turn is part way up this hill. But the sign has been demolished. Oh no, they put the sign back again. Good. Last time I saw it, this had been absolutely flattened. So that's an improvement. Okie dokie. So Gardenstown and Crovie and the viewpoint. Well, we're not just going to the viewpoint, we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. And then back up again. So turn right towards Crovie. Gardenstown is ahead of us. We're going to be going that way shortly. Oh, it's just another. Every time I come down here, I always go, oh, what do you look at it? You know, I used to do road trips around Scotland when I lived in England, and travel and travel and travel to come and find secluded bits like this. And now this is what, 7-8 miles from where I live. I am so lucky. And part of the reason for doing some of these videos is so I can share that with you, basically. Note that this summit is completely blind. We can have some window open now, can't we? Yes, we can. Okay. In fact, let's have the window all the way down. I don't think we're going to add a huge amount of sound bleeding onto the microphone, and if I'm wrong, you can kill me later in the comments. Another 17% hill, although it's certainly a lot steeper when you get to the hairpin. Past the footpath to the school, which actually goes quite a long way around. I have done that footpath, and it's yeah. And then here is Crovie, where this fishing village basically is so squished into the side of the cliff that there's no room for a road with most of the houses. So the road does go down here, but only to a little bit of car park. So again, this is proper steep now. But I am feet off completely. Remember that I use creep mode rather than hold, so I'm not using one pedal driving, and that does mean that I can have it like this, where the car will hold itself at a pretty slow speed until you really need to slow down, and then a quick dab of brake as we go around the hairpin. Yep, nothing coming. Okay, and then off again, and just let the brakes slow us down. Ooh, the sea is a long way in today. That might make the seawall in Gardenstown a bad idea. We shall have a look. Anyway, I've got this manoeuvre to do, so it's full lock. Almost eased it off a little bit because I've got to fit down here, and yes, that is literally the seawall right there. And we're going to roll forward a little bit more and straighten it up. Into reverse. Again, I'm checking in the mirror, making sure that I'm, well, you can see on there that I'm making sure that I'm not going to fall off into the sea, which would probably be a bad idea. And then let's go back up. So we're here in Crovie and we're going to go down to Gardenstown and we'll see how much of the seawall is drivable with the tide in. Could make it more interesting. I do want to do the seawall video again because I've done it once and it was quite early on in the channel. I'm not sure how many of you guys have actually seen that video, but it's worth doing again because we're doing this as a coastal trip. Oh wow, this is so steep, especially on the inside of here. Hang on. I'm glad it was motorbikes. Had it been a car, someone needed to back up, and you'd need to back up basically to here to be able to get into this lower car park, and it's lower because there's an even higher one further up the hill. But we are still climbing a stupid percent, and walking and sometimes jogging or trying to jog up this hill. Oh hell, hang on, I'll go back. Oop. Let's get ourselves into this. Oop. Pull off as much as we can. Hang on. Squeezy, squeezy. That was fun. So we're back to the cliff tops now, with Crovie kind of over that way and Gardenstown's in front of us. And then we get to do it all again. We wind our way down the hill into Gardenstown, back to sea level, and then in this case we were just on the seawall briefly, and this is going to be a lot longer. We can have some more window open now because we're going much slower. So the first of many hairpins, although it's not dramatically tight, this one. What a beautiful day. I know I keep saying, oh wow, and what a beautiful day, but just look at it. So thank you very much for being with me on this trip. I'm enjoying it and I hope you are as well, wherever in the world you are. And the further away you are, the better. Let me know in the comments how far away from here you are. So this is Gardenstown in Aberdeenshire. I will put a link in the description as to exactly where we are in the world, and then you can work out how many miles away you are. Now, there's a church down here on the corner, and on a Sunday morning, this is absolute gridlock because the church has got parking space for a handful of cars, and people do like to travel. Okay, we're leaning forward basically to try and get a better view around some of these bends. So again, we were up there in front of those houses and now we're not. Now we're down here, and similarly the church is about to be a long way above us. Okay. I really am taking at walking pace around some of these because it's a bit squeezy. We've actually got 3 cars in front of us. I wonder, are they heading to the car park at New Ground, which is ahead of us and not crazy, or are they heading down to the seawall car park, which is where I'm going to, which is crazy. Oh wow. That's in quite a long way. So I can see a van right down at the end there. Well, that's where we're going. So you obviously can still get access to it. So here we go. Past the lobster pots. And I like the fact that I'm literally on the side of the harbour wall and there's boats that have been raised out of it. So you'll forgive me if we're doing walking pace through all of this. Okay. So the main thing is we want to get a clean run down the seawall, and at the moment I can't see anything coming up. So we're good to go. Okay, it's even more dramatic with the sea coming crashing in just down there. And you really do have to squeeze your way down here, because you really don't want to put a wheel wrong or put a wheel off, because that really will be you in the sea upside down. So I'll be honest, part of the reason of having this window open is so I can make quick exit if I get this wrong. Now this is the tightest bit of all along here. Oh god, oh this is tight, where you basically are down to walking pace and then wrapping it into the side of the building. Yep, good. Phew. Okay. Doesn't help that you've got bits of building that stick out at random angles, and then you've got bits of concrete that kind of fall down. I'm going to let these people with their dogs shunt out of the way. Oh, they're doing that now. Okay. Yeah, don't walk at me, please. Thank you. Don't come walking at me like that. Okay, and then here you've got to tuck yourself all the way in, and then basically pull yourself, Lord, I can't see anything on that side, across, that's it, like that. Oh, I'm doing this so you don't have to. And then absolute walking pace. This really is absolute walking pace, because there's centimetres of space on either side. But that at least gets me down to the car park, which does have a few cars in it. So there's the van we were talking about, and we'll shove ourselves over here and do a bit of shunty. Okay, don't go any further forward than that, Ian, because it literally just drops away. Oh dear me. And then we go back again. It is, though, quite pretty. We're going to wait and see that this lady, I'm going to let this lady come down here with the dogs, just because, I mean, just look at it. I've also had a quick glance at the GoPro, because it did briefly stop itself, which wasn't really handy. Hi! I'm not sure it's any less terrifying in this direction though. I can actually see waves crashing up against it as I go at it this way. So the rule basically is stay as close as you can into this wall over here. I'm going to have to stop in a second because my GoPro is overheating, which this is a good test. Basically, I can't shoot for long periods in 4K, which I've been doing, what, 20 minutes, something like that, and it's now at the point where it's overheating and it's turning itself off. So that is, ooh, midgies. Thanks. So I did say that this was a test for shooting the North Coast 500. 4K is fine, but my GoPro Hero 10 does have a tendency to overheat, which is a problem. And I suspect it's overheating because I've also got a lot of the, that really is close. I think it's overheating because I have got things like vibration reduction on, which I know does have an impact. So what we're going to do is we're going to get down here We're going to park up at the other bit of the harbour, and we're going to unplug it. And we're going to open the case up and basically pull the battery out and let it cool down a wee bit. I'm surprised it wasn't shouting at me that I was going to crash into the car, because I wasn't, but it could have been. Cheers. Now you see, the car who's about to come down here, they'll be happy to see me coming out, because they wouldn't want to have had me going in while they were halfway down it. Obviously we've got the lady who's on foot as well. There's not really anywhere to pass her, so we're going to hang on a minute. It's like in the old days, 4 miles an hour with somebody walking in front with a red flag. It's good. GoPro's just gone off again. This is a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to drive along, back along the harbour wall, and we're going to park it up, and then I'm going to see if I can cool it down. We'll certainly do a battery swap, that'll probably help. So I didn't quite go as far as I was thinking that I was going to do. I know I said in the introduction about going as far as Cullen, but it's too nice sat here for me to want to carry on driving. And I've also got this GoPro issue, which I want to have a think about before I try and do anything a little bit longer. So I'm going to actually head back, I think, and stick it in the edit suite and see the various points where it started to cut out, because going forward, that might be a bit of a problem. And now that I'm back here in the studio, in front of the computer, that's when I really discovered the fun, because not only had the GoPro stopped repeatedly while I was on that trip, but then the pieces to camera, which I then did at the end to summarise while I was at the harbour in Gardenstown, have got no sound on them at all. You can see me talking and looking around and waving things, but you can't hear me. And I actually don't know why, which is fun. I will learn from the various different things which I've picked up on this trip. The whole point in going out and shooting some rather pretty places in nice weather in my Tesla Model Y was basically as a warm-up before I do the North Coast 500. So that will be better. So anyway, on that happy note, I'm going to end it here. So thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done already. And I'll see you very soon back here on Just Get a Tesla.